第2戦の NLCS ではドジャースがメッツに 7-3 で敗れ、シリーズは1勝1敗のタイとなりました。ドジャースのデーブ・ロバーツ監督は投手ラン・ダンナックの起用について説明し、重要な投手陣の疲労を抑えるために枠を早めに投入する計画だったと語りました。しかしナックは調子を崩し、2回目の登板で失点につながるミスを犯してしまいました。ロバーツ監督はメッツがチャンスをしっかりと生かした一方で、ドジャースも第3戦に向けて万全のブルペン体制を整え、慎重な戦略で巻き返しを図ると強調しました。アレックス・ベシアーなどの主力投手の不在が痛手となっているものの、必要であれば第6戦でも再びブルペンゲームを採用する可能性があると示唆しました。一方、メッツはドジャースの投手陣を効果的に攻略し、シリーズをタイに持ち込みました。ドジャースは次の第3戦で流れを取り戻し、ニューヨークでの戦いに向けて勢いをつけることを目指します。
It is the NLCS postgame show as we continue. That's right. Derek Jeter, David Ortiz, Alex Rodriguez, and I'm Kevin Burkhardt. The Mets, 7-3 winners over the Dodgers. And, well, you guys have been good. You've been predicting a lot of things right. And you talked about getting on the board early, Alex, and how important that would be. Well, the Mets did it the very first batter of the game, and it set the tone, didn't it?
It was so important. After the bloodbath here last night, which we left here pretty night, to come back early and have their best player and catalyst, Lindor, setting the tone, and say to the Dodgers, not so fast. This series is a series, and it started with his home run, and of course, Sean Manaea was through a gem. He was beautiful.
Incredible. Absolutely. You know, they look extremely weird yesterday during the game. They look like they have no energy. Nothing was going on. A couple of errors. You know, pitching wise was all over the place. But today, I think Lindor coming in and setting the tone for them, it got everybody going on the lineup.
Yeah, I think this boils down to the Mets mindset. Say we talked about last night. At this point in the season, it doesn't make a difference whether you lose 9-0 or 1-0. A loss is a loss and a win is a win. And they were able to bounce back. However ugly it did look last night, they were able to bounce back, and now we have a series.
Yeah, really did. Manaea, we just talked to him on Fox, just absolutely outstanding, giving the Mets exactly what they needed here today. But you like Lindor, and you like that swing today. Why?
Yeah, and I thought he was a lot more in rhythm today. What you're going to see, I'm going to show you a little video, but what I'm going to show is three things. Number one, he's got a very head still. He's got nice separation, and he hits against a nice front leg. I'm going to show you right here. Watch his front foot and his separation, and then watch him get extended.
Wow.
And behind the baseball. Look how still that head is.
Beautiful. Look at the line. Look at the line across the plate. Straight and then up. That's what we talk about, what the greatest hitters are normally doing.
We've been talking about that line the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
It looks the same for every single hitter.
That's right. Well, for good hitters.
But only when they hit the ball well, Derek.
Only good hitters.
And the balance, just like a good golfer, Lindor had perfect balance.
I tell you what stands out with Lindor. This is what stands out. His demeanor, he's always an even keel. You know, he's hit big home runs. He runs around the bases like it's a spring training home run. They got blown out last night. I'm sure everyone on their team is looking at him, and his expressions don't change. And I think that rubs off on the rest of the team. There's never any panic in his face.
Hey, Derek, I'm going to add to that because I agree. I saw something right before he hit this home run where he hit a ball off his toe, and he was jumping around, and he was laughing with the umpire, with the catcher, and next pitch, boom, hits a home run. Demeanor and controlling your emotions, Poppy.
That's what we talk about, especially during the playoff. You want to control your emotion. This guy, you don't know when he's happy or when he's sad. You never know. He controls emotion even if he strike out or he hit a home run. He's at the same level of all time.
You know, meanwhile, Mark Vientos, their young third baseman, right? He got the starting job around May, and he really had an excellent year. He had 27 home runs. Well, he had the biggest hit of the game, and it was after, Derek, they intentionally walked Lindor to get to him, and he hits a grand slam. That changed. He's got 3 home runs this postseason.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can't blame him for intentionally walking Lindor. Everyone has to do it in that particular situation. But this young man has stepped up, it seems like, every opportunity that he gets in the postseason. And then besides
the electric, and we can't wait here, and we look forward to this Game 3. And what are you looking forward to, Derek? What are we going to see?
I tell you what, they haven't announced who's starting yet. I'm going to make the assumption that it's Severino. And what I'm looking forward to is watching him pitch at Citi Field. I mean, this is a guy that's been in the big games. He's been in the spotlight on the other side of town for the Yankees. He's not intimidated. He's going to go out there and pitch a good game. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking for the Dodgers offensively to come through once again. I mean, they face a tough left-handed pitcher today, and Minaya did an outstanding job, especially keeping those left-handed batter, keeping them away from the bat, from getting on base, getting hits. Ohtani didn't look too good today. He was off, absolutely off. But they had to turn on the engine back in New York before they come back here.
You know, I'm looking for Buehler to give him some length. Look, the bullpen game was a disaster today. It works sometimes here and there, but it's not a championship formula. Starting pitching matters, and you have to have it. And it's a tall task, Kevin, to ask a cast of characters to piece together 9 innings when there's so much recourse at stake.
Yeah, and we'll see how that all plays out in Game 3. Meanwhile, for those of you here in this area leaving Dodger Stadium, we have an award-winning traffic reporter right here on our hands. His name is Big Papi.
Yes, Kevin, look at the traffic. Oh, my God. We got a screw, man. We have a Sigler. There's a jackknife over there. I mean, we are not getting out. Nope. Does it look like we're getting out?
It's almost like Where's Waldo? There's a jackknife and a Singular. If
You
you can
know
find
it.
that on the map, I think we're in good shape. And that is the move. Time for us to go.
We are screwed.
We are not moving. There you go. We'll be in New York eventually. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Game 3.
See you when I see ya.
Remember, fans, each night if Dodgers pitchers strike out at least 7 batters, everyone will get a free Jumbo Jack the following day at Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink only at LA area restaurants. Unfortunately, the Dodgers came up 1 shy today, but there's another chance coming up in Game 3 of this National League Championship Series when Walker Buehler gets the ball. The Mets take this one 7-3 to even up the NLCS at a game apiece. Let's head inside and hear from Dave Roberts with the media.
Hey Dave, just what was missing with Landon today in that second inning?
I just felt today he wasn't sharp overall. Specifically, the secondary. I thought in that second inning there was a bad walk in there to Alvarez. You know, you get Taylor 0-2, and you hang a breaking ball for the double, and then right there, you know, we had an opportunity to minimize damage. And you get count leverage, you got Vientos 1-2, and you know, then he gets it to 3-2, and then you make a mistake with your heater, and then, you know, that was a big hit, clearly.
Was the plan to always go to him earlier in today's game?
It was the plan to go to him and, you know, take down the most outs today.
When that inning starts kind of going off the rails a little bit, like, do you consider going to one of the higher leverage guys at that point, or just with how things were set up today, were you trying to save them a little bit till later in the game?
Yeah, I really wasn't. I mean, I think in that situation, you still got to be able to finish the game, and you're talking about the second inning right there. And so you have a guy on the mound that has to eat up innings, and yeah, you go to anyone else, we're not going to be able to finish the game. So I think as far as kind of where we're at, it never feels good losing. But to feel that you've got your leverage guys ready to go for the next 3 games, I feel really good about that. So it was as least costly as it could be because of what Honeywell did, Banda, Henriquez did. And so that was certainly helpful. And, you know, offensively, we got a chance to see their guys, their leverage guys, and force some up downs. And I think that was beneficial too.
Gonna go here to 1 in front.
Dave, kind of just curious, that game against the Padres, you guys kind of went high leverage guy after high leverage guy and kind of saved Knack there for the end. Like, what was different about maybe this matchup or this particular game that you guys decided to go with Knack?
I think today what was different is we don't have Vesia. Hudson was down. And that's probably the biggest kind of impetus for having to, or knowing you're going to have to take some outs from Knack, or else you just can't finish the game.
And what you see out of Honeywell, and what role can he kind of play as a series?
He did exactly what we needed. He allowed us to kind of chew up some innings, keep us in the ball game. You know, he's just kind of a guy that we just trust. And so to be able to get left and right out, you know, those are innings that a guy like that gives us, that gives the best chance to win the following ensuing game. So it's not lost on anyone in that clubhouse what Honey did for us, and Henriquez as well.
We're going to go to Bill on the left.
Dave, given that I know you said you have all your high leverage guys now available for the next game, but you have a day off tomorrow. You had a day off 2 days ago. You mostly had a bullpen day off yesterday. Why would you not go to those guys first, knowing this is October and, this is a time to step up?
You just can't. You're going to have, Knack was going to have to pitch at some point in time. So whether you get through, you have 4 high leverage guys available, right? You have to be able to kind of still finish 4 innings of a game or 3 innings of a game. And so you got to be able to get into the game at some point too. Again, we don't have Vesia. Hudson was down. So you got to get out somehow.
And then if you do need to run another bullpen game in game 6, would it be similar to today, or did you learn anything that might inform?
You know what? Honestly, Bill, I have no idea. Right now, just trying to process today, make sure that we learn from some of the things that we got to get better at. And then, we have Walker going tomorrow with a fresh, leveragey pen and focus on winning game 3.
Okay, Dylan.
Dave, what did you see from Ohtani tonight or today?
I thought he didn't look comfortable versus Manaea. The heater's away. You can see he was just kind of trying to keep the ball away from Shohei. That's what they're going to do. Shohei's very good with the ball close to him. So they're just going to, stay away, hard away. And if it's spin, it's going to be away. Just didn't feel comfortable. And then after that, I thought the righties that came in, they weren't about to give in too many. At least he took his walks.
I mean, given the fact, right, he's, I think, 0 for 19 now with the bases empty, right, and getting guys on base, they have to challenge him a little bit more. Any thought into moving him down the order?
Not really. You know what, I think that, as far as on the offensive side, I think we've been pretty good offensively. I think the guys at the bottom have been doing a nice job of getting on base. And as far as moving them down, I just don't want to be too reactive. I don't really see the benefit. We got to just make sure that our guys are just still swinging the bat well. And quite frankly, I want Shohei to get 5 at-bats a game, so I think he's our best here, and I want him up there 5 times.
Far left, JP.
Hey, Dave. Is Gavin Lux okay? Was he healthy enough to play? Did the situation just not present itself?
He was not healthy enough to start, to run, to play defense. I had him ready for that DS spot in the 8th. I felt it was leverage enough for him to hit. Once they scored the extra run in the top half of the 9th, I just felt that I'm not gonna, risk putting Gavin in a little bit more harm's way. And so I felt Pages was the best option in that moment.
Ken?
Dave, the bullpen game worked so well, game 4 of the DS. Does today demonstrate to you the difficulty of what you're trying to accomplish, the low margin for error?
It absolutely does. It all is great when it works well and guys are throwing up zeros, but, you're still facing really good ball clubs. And, there is a margin that you have to guard against and kind of really appreciate the cost of the next games and not forgetting that this isn't a winner-take-all game. It's not a 3-game series. So those are things that I have to be mindful of, leverage, plus, minus. But yeah, I mean, I think that, yeah, you're right, Kenny, is, when you're on the margins and you lose a couple guys and guys aren't available, you got to figure out how to get out somehow.
Okay, we're going to take one more here. We'll go back to Jack in the front row.
Was Hudson just down because of rest or not?
He just had some things that he couldn't pitch today.
Anything concerning moving forward, or?
I don't think so. He should be, with 2 days, he should be ready to go for game 3.
Okay. Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so anytime the Dodgers go with a bullpen plan or their pitching decisions made like that, Dave Roberts is going to be asked about them. He was asked about why Landon Knack came in the second inning of this game, and hindsight's always 20/20. But Nomar, we heard Dave Roberts say he just wasn't sharp today, and some of that might be understandable. He had pitched 1 inning in the last 15 days.
I'm sure that's a big part of it. When you only pitch 1 inning in 15 days, yeah, you can say, well, you had your Cyborg bullpen. That's a whole different ball game, and especially you're like going, okay, well, maybe they also had some inter-squad there. and he get an inning. Once again, totally different than going out there and pitching in a postseason game. Yeah, he had that one inning. He looked great, and that was good. Obviously, coming in a different circumstance when you're coming in with the lead, when he comes in and gives you that one inning. But this is totally different. Now, we were talking about this is like a bullpen game, like Game 4. Game 4 was a different situation when it's a must-win and their backs are against the wall, and then he's coming in with those high-leverage guys, right? Yes, he had some high-leverage guys going on. But what Dave Roberts said there, the plan was that Knack was coming into this game at point. That was the plan. We also know that it's collaborative over there, so it's not all on Dave right there. So the plan at some point, Knack was coming in. I know they had Bonda warming up in the bullpen. I'm sure he was looking at the way the first inning was playing out and going, okay, if I get Winker, the lefty coming in, if Brazier isn't able to get up, that's when I'm going to have to bring in Bonda at that point. But since that was only the one lefty and all these righties, like, I'm going to have to use Knack at some point. He's getting loose, getting warmed up. So like I said, this was planned early. So yeah, we might think it was going to be like Game 4, but the plan was different than Game 4. It was a bullpen, but not high leverage early on. And he's probably looking about trying to want to have those high leverage for the next 3 days over there in New York.
That's it right there. That last piece you just said. Listen, it is really difficult to navigate a 7-game series when you have 3 starters. Okay, so we know that Yamamoto is only going to pitch 1 game in this series. So Dodgers have a 1-game-to-none lead. You have to be able to navigate and gamble at times. You got to take a gamble. And I think this is what Dave Roberts and his staff said. You know what? If we're going to pitch Knack, let's see if we can steal some outs early in the game. Maybe he finds his rhythm because he only pitched 1 inning in 15 days. So we took a gamble. Hopefully he could find his footing, rhythm, and give us 3, maybe 4 innings so we don't burn all our guys. You got to remember, this is a 7-game series, and those 3 days in New York, you got to make sure you can have guys pitch in back-to-back days, maybe 1 or 2 guys be able to pitch back-to-back-to-back 3 days in a row. So again, listen, we didn't get it done. Offensively, we didn't get it done. On the pitching side, collectively, we didn't get it done. Credit the Mets, man. They're a good team. It's tough to win games at this point, but it's all about bouncing back, getting ready to go. We're going to have all our arms ready to go for Game 3, and hopefully we come back with a vengeance and really swing the bats.
And the other thing, too, everybody's like, well, there's a day off. I get there's a day off, but going, okay, you pitch and high level, and then all of a sudden you just, well, you have 1 day. 1 day is a little bit different than you having a couple of days as far as recovery and on the body. That is a lot different than just assuming like, well, you have 1 day off, go out there and pitch. It doesn't work that way, especially this late in the season, and we're in the postseason. So if you can give some of these guys a couple of days off, few days off, it definitely makes a difference for them to actually then go back to back to back.
Yes.
And it hurts not having Alex Vesia. Dave Roberts talked about that.
Yeah, it totally does. That's a huge blow for that bullpen.
It's a huge blow. And if we get to a Game 6, the Dodgers will be likely forced to pitch another bullpen game in Game 6. They'll have to come up with some kind of other plan to get through that one if we get there. Still more to come. 3 shutout innings today for Brent Honeywell Jr. in his postseason debut. We will hear from him, Max Muncy, and more after the Mets tie this series up at a game apiece.